where was I? Oops, fell over. There is a fly buzzing around my room today. Fly. Come here, fly. I've tried my best to remove it from the room, but I've been unsuccessful thus far. I got the fly out of the room, yay! Hello everyone, and welcome to Inside Number 23, my podcast about knitting and sewing and my crafty life in general. My name is Katie, and you can find me on Instagram and Ravelry and Periscope as Miss Lavelli. And as always, I am coming to you from Hertfordshire, which is just north of London, where I live with my lovely husband Emrys and our gorgeous little puppy Rolly. Inside Number 23 also has a Ravelry group, which I've managed to forget to mention over the past several weeks. But we have a Ravelry group which is easily found just by searching Inside Number 23 podcast on Ravelry. And you should definitely come over and join, because there you're going to get the best amount of information about our knit-alongs and giveaways and all of that other good stuff. And also that is where I post my show notes for this episode, in addition to the ones that I pop below in the down bar. Welcome back if you are a long time viewer. It's so lovely to have you back here with me, and obviously a big hello and welcome for the first time to anyone who is a new viewer. It really means a lot that you'd like to come and spend a little bit of time with me today. It's been an exciting week this week on Inside Number 23. I've had quite a bit of time to get some crafting done, so I have some fun things to share with you. And we also started the Voidalong. And in case you think I'm crazy, the Voidalong is the current knit along that we're having here at Inside Number 23. I'm co-hosting with lovely Eric of the Sticks Twine podcast for the Void Shawl, which is a beautiful pattern by Melanie Berg, and so many of you are getting involved and getting excited. But I'm going to be talking about that a little bit later in my knitting segment, because I may have been working on a void of my own, you never know. In addition to the excitement of the Voidalong starting this week, I also had another little bit of joy in the form of a set of patterns, which was gifted to me by the lovely Mina of the Knitting Expat podcast. This is her latest collection of sock patterns. It's called Beyond Vanilla, and it's a selection of socks that are all kind of, I would say, one step up from vanilla socks. So with a little bit of textured pattern to add a bit of interest, and they are gorgeous. I absolutely love them. She was also kind enough to donate another copy of these patterns to you, my lovely viewers, and I'm always excited to receive something to give to you. So I'm going to be hosting a giveaway. Yay! Giveaway! Super simple in terms of how you enter. I will be opening a thread in the Ravelry group, and all I want you to go and do is obviously join the Ravelry group and comment on that thread. And I'd like you to tell me what you're enjoying watching on the TV. Give me some TV program recommendations, you guys. And the reason behind that is pretty much all of the series that I have been watching have recently finished. It's that kind of time of year, isn't it, when things start coming to an end. And I'm really desperate for some new TV shows to watch. So head on over, comment, tell me what you like watching, what you think I might like to watch. And I will be drawing a prize from that thread next week. So you have 1 week to enter into the giveaway. And I'm so excited. One of you could be winning a set of the Beyond Vanilla socks by Mina. So head on over and enter. It's very exciting. In case you're interested, I'm actually trying a new tea this week, which I'm really enjoying. It's called Rose Lemonade Tea, and it's by Taylor's Tea. And it's basically exactly what it sounds. It's a blend of kind of florals and lemon, and it's really nice. It's very refreshing, and I think it will make a really nice iced tea if the weather ever improves here. I'm hoping and praying that summer will be on its way soon, but for now, I'm taking it the regular way and very much enjoying it. But enough of the admin and all those bits and pieces, let's get on with some knitting! Because I actually have, I feel, a decent amount to share with you this week, which I'm really excited and happy about, and I feel like I'm emerging from my previous knitting schlump with positivity and energy, and it's a really great feeling. So let's start off with what's on my needles? So I have a finished object this week, you guys. Can you believe it? I'm so happy to finally have a finished object. It feels like it's been a while, although I did have my hat a few weeks ago, but that was a very small project. This is a relatively large project that I finally got off the needles, and if you're a regular viewer, you can probably guess which project it is. It's my random act of colour, you guys! Look at it! It's so big I can hardly fit it so that you can see all of the colours. But this is the Random Act of Colour and it's finished. Oh, look at how humongous it is. It's really huge. So that's one tip going all the way over here. Ooh. All the way over here to the end. Ta-da! So this is of course my Random Act of Colour shawl. It's a test knit that I've been doing for the lovely, lovely Periscoping Sisters. That's Amy and Debbie. So look guys, I finished! Yay! It's a pattern that they've collaborated on and it's really, really gorgeous. It will be released on the 15th of June, so it's coming up super soon now, so make sure that you get a copy of it. And the ladies themselves, the lovely Periscoping Sisters, will be starting a knit along from July 1st. So you could, you know, have one of these of your very own. I've also named this shawl my Elliot Shawl because the colours do remind me of Elliot from Pete's Dragon. But when I was looking at it, kind of blocking out, I realised that the colours also really, really remind me of Ariel from The Little Mermaid. Because look, tail colour, like shell cup colour. Don't you think? I'm so happy that it's blocked up really nicely. And to be honest, I'm not surprised that these rows were taking me as long as they were. I was thinking that there was maybe something wrong with me in how long it was taking me to complete a row on this, because it was taking me, I would say, around about 20 minutes per row. But when you see how huge it is, because I had it bunched up on kind of a much smaller cable, I'm not surprised that it was taking me as long as it was. But it's finished, it's beautiful, and yeah, I'm really, really happy. The yarn just feels incredible. This yarn was donated by Anzula Fibres to all of us who did the test knit. And the colours that I have used are, the purple is called Fiona, the hot pink is called Iris, and the green is called Emerald, in case you want to recreate this particular look yourself. The only modification that I made is that I just did a kind of stretchy bind off. The pattern calls for a picot edge, but picot is not my favourite. I think it looks beautiful with just the straight edge as opposed to a picot bind off. My favourite thing definitely is this lace pattern and how it's blocked out. I'm just going to put this over my face for a second. Just look at how the light is shining through those lovely, lovely little flower shapes. It's gorgeous. And of course, I'll put it on so that you can see how it looks. The thing that's lovely about this is that when you wear it, you can see all of these different layers. The way that they kind of sit is really, really cute. I do like it kind of worn as the kind of bandana style, you know, around the neck, but I was kind of playing around with it this morning and I really do just enjoy it. Just draped over my shoulders. I feel that it really shows off the pattern kind of as well as it can be shown off. It is a big relief to have it off the needles, and mostly that's because I was feeling a little as though I had let Debbie and Amy down, because it's taken me a while to get this done, and both Mina and Sue have already finished their projects, and I'm pretty sure that Danny has finished hers. I'm not sure 100% though. But I did feel as though I was so honoured that they asked me to test knit, and then I hadn't kind of been able to knit this up as quickly as the other ladies, but I got there, you guys. I got there in the end. It's finished, and oh, look at it. One thing I would say, I have a feeling that this shawl may be not the very last, but the last lace shawl project that I work on for a little while. I feel a little bit shawled out in terms of this kind of style of shawl. Late last year, around December last year, I had never ever made any shawls. And I've now made 5, I think. So my Enchanted Unicorn shawl, my Outlander shawl, my Lily and Severus shawl, my, what's the other shawl? Oh, of course, my Exploration Station shawl, which I call my Starry Night shawl, and this one. So 5 since December. That's a lot of shawls, you guys, and they're all quite similar. I feel that it's time that I focus my attention on other things, and I think that that's going to help me feel more creative. And yeah, I've got a lot of sweaters and cardigans and that type of thing that I want to cast on, and obviously I've got a whole array of socks that are languishing, so I'm hopefully going to focus my time on some of those things. Very, very happy with this. And I would thoroughly recommend the pattern. So like I said, make sure that you get hold of a copy and maybe take part in the knit along as well. So let's move on to works in progress. And of course, the work in progress that I am most excited about is my Void Shawl for the Voidalong. I've done a fair bit of work on this shawl. It's flying. It's absolutely flying. I cast this on in the morning of the 1st and it's now the 5th, and I haven't worked on it this morning. It's still quite early in the morning on Sunday, so I haven't worked on this so far. But guys, look at it! Oh my goodness. This is my Void Shawl. This is my happy place. Honestly, I have not been so happy to be knitting on a project in quite some time. And it turns out all I needed was to change things up a bit and go back to what I absolutely love, which is texture and cables and amazing patterns. And yeah, I am well and truly 100% in love and out of my knitting slump and so happy. So obviously the Void Shawl has this beautiful geometric pattern. It's kind of waffly and I love it. It's so gorgeous. This is a pattern by Melanie Berg, my first Melanie Berg pattern, and I must admit, working on this makes me want to just look her up and find out all about her other patterns because I adore this. The yarn that I'm using is Quince & Co. It's their Lark base, and the colour is Chanterelle, and obviously it's a worsted weight, so it's nice and thick, and I think that that's one of the reasons why it's knitting up so quickly as well. So I'm about halfway in terms of the amount of repeats that are needed for this pattern, which might sound like, you know, I don't have that much to go, but this pattern increases on every single row that you knit, and it increases by a lot of stitches. So I may have already kind of done half the repeats, but I've not done half the work because these rows are already pretty long, as you can see, and they increase a huge amount each time that you're kind of going across. The needles that I'm using are my trusty higher sharps, my interchangeable higher sharps, and usually these are my needles of choice for any kind of shawl knitting or any knitting at all. I absolutely love my higher sharps, but I am finding, and I don't know what it is about this particular project that's causing this to happen, but pretty much every row that I work on this, I'm finding that one or both of my needles is twisting out of its attachment on the cable, which is really frustrating because I haven't ever had this problem with these needles before, but it is starting to irritate me because obviously when I'm trying to move the stitches, I'm finding that they're catching because the little join is opening up between the needle and the cable. Any advice, guys, for needles that are twisting out of their cables while you're working with them? It is frustrating because, like I said, I've never had problems with the higher sharps interchangeables before. In fact, more than anything, I found that they've been pretty much impossible to twist out, so I don't know what I'm doing. I love it so much. Literally, all I'm thinking about is the fact that later, after editing this podcast, I'll be able to work on this. So exciting. My last work in progress of the day is, of course, the Cozy Memories blanket, which, as always, I love. This week, I did pop a couple more squares into my blanket. I have nearly finished the 5th row of squares. So they're each 12 squares across, and I'm working now on the last square here. And don't you just love this last corner? I love how this green and this orange look together and the blue. I love it. I could look at it for hours. It's so pretty. But this week I managed to knit in a couple more squares. So this pink and this green. And I'm also adding in the final, which I'm using Easy Knits, and it's part of their ombre mini skein set that I got, and this is the palest colour. It's very, very pale. It's kind of an off-white, but it has shots of neons, so hot pinks, neon green, purple in there. I definitely need to get myself a full skein of Easy Knits yarn because it's so beautiful. Something I would say about this blanket, again, like my shawl knitting, I have a feeling that when I complete this final square that I may stop working on the blanket for a little while. Mostly that's because I feel that my sock mojo is coming back. Yay! So I want to work on some socks, and I'm finding that having a balance between a worsted weight project, so my Void Shawl, and a fingering weight project is really working for me at the moment. So this being a fingering weight project, I will always want to knit on this because I love it so much. So I feel that if I put it away just for a little bit and spend some time working on some of my sock projects, which are all fingering weight, it'll again help me to reawaken my love of socks, to get some of those socks finished. And to be honest, the amount of work that I've done on this blanket, because it's huge now, I could very easily have finished about 4 pairs of socks with the amount of work I've put in on here. So it's time for it to take a little holiday, so you might not be seeing it for a while, but rest assured it will be coming back. And this does not mean that I have lost my love for the blanket. If anything, I love it more than ever, but you might not be seeing it again for a little while. So that's everything that's on my needles this week. I feel that I've made quite a bit of progress and I'm really, really happy with that. It's a lovely feeling after feeling a little bit as though I've let you guys down in terms of my projects for the last couple of weeks. But moving on, we're going to talk about something that is non-fibre related just for a little bit. It's time for one of my favourite segments, which is What Would a Bookworm Do? So for those of you who are new to the podcast, this segment is basically me talking about kind of things that I've been reading and sharing books with you. But also a part of having this segment on the podcast is that I used to be a huge bookworm. And in the last couple of years, that's really kind of not been happening. I haven't been reading as much and it's really sad. So I decided to have the What Would a Bookworm Do segment to encourage me to be accountable for what I'm reading and basically share with you some fun things that I've been finding along the way in the process. So this week there was a new book released by an author who I am a rather big fan of, and that is Giovanna Fletcher, G. Fletcher, and the book is Always with Love. Isn't it cute? So I want to tell you a little bit about Giovanna Fletcher quickly and how I became interested in her. Giovanna Fletcher is married to a guy called Tom Fletcher, and you may know him because he is a member of a British band called McFly, and he is a singer, songwriter, guitar player, general amazing musician. He's a lovely, lovely guy, and I've been aware of his music for a long time, but I really became aware of him when his wedding speech to Giovanna went viral online, because he basically sang his entire wedding speech and it was very, very touching, really lovely, and I'm the type of person who loves that kind of thing. So that's when I first really became aware of him as anything other than a musician, because from that I found out that he had a YouTube channel, that he vlogged regularly, that he created a lot of really fun content on there, and I was a big fan. He comes from a very creative family. His sister is Carrie Fletcher, who is also a YouTuber and an author of books. She has a novel coming out, which is very exciting. She's also a performer. She's performed in Les Mis. She's currently performing in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. She creates amazing content on YouTube as well. So from Tom, I went to Carrie, and then I found out that Tom's wife also created YouTube content. And from her channel, I found out that she was an author and that she has written a lot of books. This is her 4th full novel. So far she's written Billy and Me, You're the One That I Want, Dream a Little Dream, and then Always with Love, which is actually a sequel to her first novel, Billy and Me. The reason that I've kind of told this weird roundabout story as to how I found G. Fletcher and her novels is that this is not the type of book that I would gravitate towards usually as a reader. I'm a big fan of, like I've said previously, gothic horror. I also like science fiction. I like thrillers. I like fantasy novels. That's the type of thing that I enjoy. Something that has a slightly more kind of girly cover with hearts and cutesy names is not something that I would naturally gravitate towards. Nothing wrong with that kind of book. It just doesn't kind of interest me straight away if I was looking to buy something. Obviously, I had a different journey getting to these novels by G. Fletcher because I felt that I had come to know her through her channel and I was interested in reading the kind of novels that she had written. And I really like them. I think of them as the kind of the cupcakes of the novel world. They're sweet and delicious and they're quite quick to devour. They're not exactly going to fill you up completely. You're probably going to need a bit of a full dinner afterwards, but the actual process of eating that cupcake is a thing of joy, and it's perfect in its own little right. They make me happy in the same way that cupcakes do, and I don't really think I could give a novel really a nicer compliment than that. I would recommend it if you want something cupcakey to read. It's great. I have got a little bit of the way through. I'm on, I believe, chapter 5, and so far it's been fun, as all of her books have. So that's the first thing that I've been reading and enjoying. In terms of other things, something that I rediscovered this week was my iPad, which I keep in this really cute case. How adorable is that? And I decided that I felt like downloading some digital books. I love reading actual solid physical books, but I'm also a big fan of digital books too. Recently, I have been listening through the back catalogue of the Twisted Stitches podcast with Twee and Kimberly, which I've said previously is one of my favourite audio podcasts, which I absolutely adore. But one of the things that I really, really love about their podcast is that at the end of every episode, they talk about what they've been reading and watching. And both Twee and Kimberly seem to have this ability to kind of devour books. So they're always talking about new books and different things that they've been reading, and it's so interesting. And I decided to download a couple of books that I'd heard them mention on one of their past episodes because they couldn't really be more highly recommended than by Twee and Kimberly, so I thought I would give them a go. So the two books that I've downloaded onto my iPad are called Tithe by Holly Black and also Firelight by Kristen Callahan. So I haven't started Firelight yet, but I'm very, very excited to read it. Both Twee and Kimberly very, very highly recommend Kristen Callahan as an author. And this is the first in a series of novels which are, and I need to get this right, they are historical, paranormal, romance novels. What more could you want in a novel? Seriously, all of the good stuff all in one. So just hearing them talk about that really excited me, and the fact that they both recommended Kristen Callahan as being an incredible author. So I have that one downloaded, but like I said, I haven't started it yet. But the other one is called Tithe by Holly Black, and it is something that I've started reading. I've only read a couple of chapters so far. It's kind of modern fantasy, and it's about fairies. So the idea is that the main character, no spoilers, you pretty much find this out within the first page, has believed in fairies as a child but was kind of ridiculed for it, and is starting to find out that things that she believed to be true when she was a child may actually be true. Pretty cool. And yeah, I'm really enjoying it so far. Like I said, I used to be a huge reader of kind of fantasy novels and YA novels, which this one is. Tithe is a YA novel. I would recommend Tithe if you're into kind of fantasy, fairy. I'm not usually a big lover of kind of fairy novels, but this one's really quite interesting. I'm very excited about Always with Love and Tithe in terms of what I've read so far. I'm really excited to start Firelight. Hopefully I will be able to start that either tonight or tomorrow, and obviously I will keep you posted as to how we get on with them. So next up, how about we have a little bit of sewing content? It's time for Sew What? And as with everything else, I'm really happy with kind of my sewing progress this week. Not a lot of physical progress has been made, I will say that. I completely finished my Carol dress. As I said last week, I wanted to make a couple of adjustments to the dress in terms of the fit. Those are all done. It's hemmed, it's finished, it's good to go, and I'm so happy with it. Yay, Carol dress! And the beady-eyed amongst you will probably notice that the video that I promised detailing the sewing process of this dress still has not emerged. Unfortunately, I experienced a couple of technical issues this week with my computer in terms of editing that video. I have a MacBook Air, but it has a slightly small capacity in terms of its storage, which means that when I'm editing video, particularly if I'm editing a podcast, which is about at least an hour and a half of raw footage, if not more, my computer doesn't like it very much and gets a bit angry. So when I was putting together all of the information from these videos, obviously I've filmed in small little chunks, but when you collect them all together, it's a fair amount of footage and the computer wasn't having it. So I decided to clear up some space, which I've now done, and I've started editing again. And the computer seems happy thus far, but fingers crossed, guys. I will have it out to you this week. I am happy with what I've done so far, and I do have future videos for the Sewing IRL series planned as well. So those will be coming at ya. And like I said, fingers crossed, if all is well, technically, it shall be coming out midweek this week. But the other thing that's been taking up my time in terms of sewing is, of course, the Wardrobe Architect. And the Wardrobe Architect, for those of you that don't know, is a series of blog posts on the Colette website that's all about creating a capsule wardrobe of clothes that represent you as an individual. And over the last couple of episodes, I've been following through my progress on the Wardrobe Architect. We also have a thread in the Ravelry group for the Wardrobe Architect. I feel like we have a thread for everything now, but that's the way we want to be. We have a thread for the Wardrobe Architect and you can join in. The conversation's been great. And I wanted to talk about weeks 3 and 4 with you this week, which I've now completed in terms of the exercises that are given. Last week we kind of were talking about what our clothes mean to us and the words and finding inspiration and all of that type of stuff. This week is a lot more cerebral. So actually assessing physical shapes, the ones that make you feel happy, and then combining those shapes to create silhouettes. So week 3 had a worksheet, a kind of tick sheet almost, where you rate different items of clothing and their fit and the shapes that are involved with them from 0 to 10. This is my little sheet here, if you can see some of my numbers on there. And you collect all of this information, and then in week 4 you pick the shapes that have rated most highly on that sheet and you combine them to start creating silhouettes. And the idea is that if you can create a series of silhouettes, so it suggests maybe 5 to 10, and then being more specific in terms of different seasons as well, so you might end up with between 10 to 20 silhouettes in total, you will always have a guide in terms of making something that you know you are going to wear. Because if it fits into one of these silhouettes or variations of these silhouettes, you know that these are the shapes that you feel comfortable in, that flatter the parts of your body that you want to be flattered and hide the parts of your body that you want to be hidden. Because let's be honest, we all want to hide something. And it gives you an automatic jump off point in terms of making things. So it means you don't just make a whole load of random bits and pieces and then have no way of wearing them, because you have a foundation to build upon. So it's really, really cool and really fun. So like I said, I filled out my sheet. And if you can see the little orange circles on here, I circled anything that I had marked with either an 8 or a 9. Because I didn't give anything a 10 because I'm stingy. And I don't like committing to a 10 for something, but I had a lot of different things that were rated either a 9 or an 8. And those are the particular shapes that I focused on in terms of starting to create silhouettes for myself. Something that was very interesting with this is that it really made me think about projects that I know that I would like to work on in the future because of how they would work with the silhouettes that I like, in particular knitting projects, which I'm really excited to share with you. I have as yet basically put together 3 silhouettes, and I will be adding more to this, and I'm hoping to create some kind of silhouette slideshow for you next week when I've put more time into working out all these different shapes and silhouettes for you. But for now, I just quickly wanted to talk about these 3. Something that I've been made aware of through this kind of marking system is that when it comes to tops, any kind of top half of something, so just if it separates the actual top itself or the top of dresses, I enjoy things that are form-fitting on the top. I also enjoy things that are fitted around my waist, either on my natural waist or my high waist, you know, high-waisted 1950s style. That was kind of already known. And then when it comes to my bottom half, so be it skirts and dresses, I can wear anything between something very full up to something very fitted and feel comfortable in pretty much anything when it comes to being around my bottom half, which is pretty cool because I wasn't really aware of that. I thought that I was much more interested in things that were full or kind of just gored, you know, kind of slightly full, but apparently I'm happy with pretty much any shape that goes around my bottom half, which is good to know. All of that rambling basically helped me create 3 different silhouettes. So 2 of these silhouettes are separates. So the first one involves a fitted top with a knee length, slightly full, so basically gored skirt, which is something that I wear all the time. And in terms of what you can wear with that, there were some different variations that were suggested. So I would wear it with flat shoes, with a slight heel maybe, or with boots. And in terms of things that I would wear with it, I could change that silhouette either by pairing it with a cropped fitted cardigan or something oversized and loose, which basically gives that silhouette different variations depending on what you pair it with. So the core is obviously the tight fitting top with the knee length, slightly full skirt. But there are so many different variations to that. The next silhouette is still kind of similar to this, but it's a definite variation, which is a tight fitted top with a short, so mid thigh length, A-line skirt. So again, we're going for a fitted bodice, which I know that I like, but it's more of a mini skirt look, which is something that I've started to embrace a lot more recently. And again, that silhouette can be given a huge amount of variation by pairing it with a really big, chunky, oversized cardigan, much like the first silhouette, and then changing it up between flat shoes or boots or bare legs or tights. It's really interesting in terms of breaking your style down into something that's really, really formulaic, because you start seeing patterns in the type of things that you would put with garments, and that's just really interesting. The last silhouette is my kind of favourite that I know suits me and makes me happy, which is of course a dress with a fitted top and a fullish skirt. So pretty much every dress that I have in my wardrobe is something with a fitted bodice with more flair in the skirt. So be it an A-line style skirt, be it more of a gathered skirt with more volume, or even a full circle skirt. That's the type of style that really, really makes me happy and makes me comfortable, which would look super cute with a cropped fitted cardigan, which is something that I talked about with my first silhouette. So can you see how creating these silhouettes then gives us an idea of items that we can create within our wardrobe to fit with them? And it's really made me want to knit up a kind of cropped fitted cardigan and a really big oversized chunky knit cardigan. Those are the 2 things so far that have really sprung out of me in terms of knitted projects. And I'm just so excited and I feel so inspired, because the next step is to start looking at colour, which I can't wait. I can't wait to start creating palettes and that type of thing. So yeah, watch this space, because obviously there's going to be some fun stuff going on very, very soon. My one last bit of so what is actually technically a stash enhancement, but because it was only a small one, I decided that I wouldn't have a stash enhancement section just for one thing. So I'm popping it in on the end of So What because it's sewing related, and that is I got a new pattern in the post. How adorable is this? It's so stinking cute, I can't even handle it. So what was I talking about? Fitted bodice, skirt that's maybe slightly looser, A-line kind of style. This is perfect. It's pretty much the shirt dress of my dreams. Now this is by an indie pattern company called Deer and Doe, and I love these patterns. I've been gaping at their pattern collection online for weeks now, and I finally bit the bullet and bought this pattern because I thought this would look perfect with my fox print fabric, my Fox in Foxgloves fabric that I purchased a couple of weeks ago and shared with you. And I'm hoping that with the size that I want, with the yardage that I have, I may be able to get this dress out of it because it's not a full skirt, it's A-line. And I also want to make a contrast colour cuffs and collar. So the edge of the cuff here and the collar, I think I'd like to do them in white as a contrast to the navy of the dress. And I just think that would look so cute. I'm really excited about working on this. There are a couple of other bits and pieces that I do want to work on first. Some more kind of staples. I want to get some tops done from my Agnes pattern, my Tilly and the Buttons Agnes pattern, but this, I think, is going to be a really, really cute spring summer dress that I could also wear when it gets colder with the addition of some thick tights and boots and a really cute cardigan to go over the top of it. So again, thinking about things more than just for one particular event, thinking about things in that 360-degree view is just really, really good. And I love this pattern and I'm excited to work on it. May not be for a little while yet, but it's gonna happen. So yeah, check out Deer and Doe because their patterns are amazing. Okay guys, so we have 2 more segments left in the podcast today, just 2. As I said, I'm not doing a stash enhancements this week because the only enhancement that I had was that pattern, and lovely though it is on its own, I don't think it deserves an entire segment. So when I don't have a stash enhancement section, I do still like to dream about the things that I would be buying if I had the ability to. So it's time for What's on My Wish List? And what's on my wish list this week is really, really linked to the work that I've been doing in terms of wardrobe architect and the projects that it's starting to make me think would be really, really great to have in my wardrobe. So that's definitely played a part in it, but I've also been inspired by a couple of other podcasts which have pointed me into the general direction of a particular company that I am really lusting over in terms of their products right now. So I listened to the Yarn and the City audio podcast, and not their most recent episode, but the one previous, I think, they visited the John Arbon Textiles mill, which is in North Devon. I found that whole episode so interesting because basically they visited the mill, they talked to John Arbon himself, and they found out all about the process of how they spin yarn there. And it was just fascinating. So I just wanted to read you a little bit about John Arbon Textiles. In case you don't know about it, you may know about it already. They're a fairly well-known company for yarn production in the UK. But like I said, they're based in North Devon, and it is a family-run business, so a relatively small business. And it says, it uses traditional worsted machinery to process and spin fine quality British yarns. They are one of only a handful of small scale worsted mills that is still operating in the UK. And what I found fascinating about that episode of Yarn in the City is that John Arbon himself was saying that they basically rescue these machines that they use for their whole process. So they may have been abandoned in other places in the UK. They go rescue these machines, they refurbish them and work on them until they are again in working condition, and they use these original machines to produce the yarn that they create in their mill. And I just find that Oh, it's amazing because I'm a big kind of make, do and mend fan. Part of the reason that I'm so into the 40s and 50s is that whole mentality of mending things and making something out of what is essentially nothing and making things last, and the idea of taking machines that someone thought were basically junk and were abandoned and to give them new life and to create such beautiful products with them just makes my heart sing. So it makes me so happy. But also, I was watching a previous episode of the Little Bobbins podcast with lovely Danny, and Danny was talking about a fibre festival that she went to recently where she actually purchased some John Arbon yarn, and she was talking about how lovely it was and the colours, and I just was fixated. So in terms of what's on my wish list this week is a particular kind of yarn that is spun by John Arbon, and it's called their Knit by Numbers series. This is a selection of DK weight yarns that are produced by John Arbon's in, wait for it, 85 different shades. 85 different shades. Like, how are you not going to find a colour that you like from 85 different colours? It's 100% a merino worsted spun yarn, and I'm obsessed with it. I want it so badly, and I can't even handle it. I'm one step away from ordering from their website, but I don't want to do that because I've heard, and I think I'm correct on this, that they're going to be at Fibre East this year, John Arbon, and I'm planning to go to Fibre East, so that will be my treat for myself. If they are at Fibre East, I really need to check because otherwise I'm going to pin all my hopes on the fact that they're there, and then if they're not there, it's going to be devastating. But I really want to treat myself to a sweater's quantity of John Arbon yarn in their Knit by Numbers series because I just think it will be beautiful. And in terms of the project that I want to use this yarn for, I've already got a project in mind. Like I was saying, when it comes to my Wardrobe Architect series, I've realised that something that is really missing from my wardrobe is kind of a fitted, cropped cardigan. And I just think that this would fill a real gap in my wardrobe. The pattern that I have found on Ravelry that's been sitting in my favourites for some time is a pattern called Sophie by Jennifer Wood, and it's the most beautiful cropped cardigan with beautiful cabling detail, because we all know I'm all about the cables right now. I'm loving the texture in the cables, and I want to make this project. I'm so excited about it. I'm really happy that I'm not buying the yarn right now because this will give me time to go through a couple more steps in terms of my Wardrobe Architect series and work out my colour scheme and my palette, which will mean that I will then select a colour of yarn based on that palette, which will then work with a whole load of other projects that I'll have lined up by that point. So it's all about making a cohesive wardrobe where things can be mixed and matched and all work together. And yeah, I am so excited. But yeah, Fibre East can't come quickly enough as far as I'm concerned, but I do need to get some work done before then so that I can be in a good position in order to buy that yarn and know what colour will work and everything. But that is definitely on the cards, that project. And I just think, how cute would that cardigan look with this? I mean, granted, this would look nice with a massive chunky oversized cardigan or a featherweight cardigan, but with a little like cropped fitted cardigan, oh, dying. It would be amazing. And that is what's on my wish list this week. So my last segment, as always, is General Waffle. And this week, it's time for something completely different. And to help me out, I actually need a little bit of assistance. So for the first time ever on Inside number 23, I'm gonna have a bit of a co-host. So yeah, without further ado, let's move on to General Waffle. Alright, so for this week's General Waffle, like I said, I thought it would be fun to have someone to kind of talk to rather than just talk to myself. So I decided to enlist the help of my lovely assistant here. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Okay. My name's Emrys. I'm this one's husband.
This is your first official visit to the podcast, isn't it? Because you've visited unofficially previously. But you've never actually been on an official capacity. So welcome. Welcome to the podcast. Everyone's going to love you. But yes, the idea behind this rather random general waffle is over the last couple of weeks I've been hearing this kind of theme, this topic being talked about. First of all, I heard it on the Knitmore Girls podcast. Jasmine and Gigi on the Knitmore Girls podcast were talking about superpowers that they would have. Basically, it was kind of... I can't even remember how the conversation started, but they were basically talking about superpowers that would better enable them to carry on kind of crafting and that type of thing, which I thought was awesome. And I think on the last episode of the Legacy Knits podcast, Sue and Chelsea started talking about this as well. And I just found it really funny because we've been kind of inundated with superhero movies at the moment, haven't we? We've been completely immersed in the Marvel universe for one, and then we went and saw Captain America recently, and we saw X-Men, so it feels like this is a very current topic that we're enjoying at the moment. So I thought I would like to talk about this, and I thought it would be fun to have someone else to talk to about it.
I've thought about this a lot. I didn't have to do any preparation for this.
Just in
been
life.
Doing that my whole childhood life. Yeah.
Oh, I'm really sorry about how horrendous I look, because I'm really just a little too overexcited that you're here.
I can tell.
But anyway, I was having a think about what I would like as my superpower, so I thought I would go first, if that's okay.
Yeah, go for it.
Something that Jasmine said on the Knitmore Girls podcast was that she wished she had a superpower where she didn't ever have to sleep, because then you get like another 8 hours. I was thinking, how cool would it be? Because basically it would mean that, because I always feel like I don't have enough time to do everything, because I do a lot of stuff.
You'd have like twice as much time in your life.
Yeah, exactly. And also the really, really cool thing would be being a bit of a competitive person. Nobody else would have that.
No.
So all the extra time you would have on top of everybody else. So I would never have that problem where I'd feel that other people had been able to do more than me, and that makes me feel like bad.
So you'd be able to get loads done.
Yes.
And you'd probably be better at things because you'd have more experience than other people.
Exactly.
So is this your choice?
Well, no, this is the thing. Okay. Is that I thought this would be amazing, but then I thought, I have a problem with this superpower.
Because you love sleeping. I would never choose that as a superpower. I love sleeping. I'm right there with you.
Really love sleeping.
Yeah, same.
It's like one of my favourite things in the day. That's so funny that you knew that I was going to say. I thought this is a real problem. If I didn't need to sleep, then that would be really sad because it would take away something I really, really love. But then I had a really good idea.
Cool.
Did you ever watch Bernard's Watch? When you were a kid, yeah. So anyone who doesn't know Bernard's Watch, because I don't think it was an international thing. I'm pretty sure it was just something for the UK. There's this little boy, and he has like a pocket watch. It's like a pocket watch, isn't it? With one of the dials on the top, which you can kind of click down. And whenever he clicks this watch, time stops. And I remember watching this as a kid and thinking that would be really good because if you were doing an exam or something at school and you were really stuck and you were like coming up to the time, you could be like stopping the stopwatch and then do like finish your exam and have more time than everybody else.
I remember watching Bernard's Watch and thinking there is no way on earth even a child would use this watch to do these things. To be like, someone's going to fall out of a chair, let me pause time and put a chair in front of them. Like, really mundane, like, not things you would use this for if you had the control of pausing time.
Yeah. But I thought, as an adult, it's been a while since I've thought about Bernard's Watch. I'm not going to lie.
Can't believe we're talking about Bernard's Watch on the podcast.
But basically, I thought it would be really cool if I had that power.
Like Hero from Heroes.
Yes. But kind of Hero does other things. He kind of bends time and stuff, doesn't
Yeah,
he?
can
Like
go
it's
forwards and
time in
backwards
general.
and travel
Like
in
I
time.
don't think I would want to necessarily travel in time because I think that comes with a whole additional set of responsibilities.
You just want to pause time.
I just want to be able to pause time.
Which is like the sleep thing, but you still get to sleep.
Exactly, because you know that feeling when you wake up in the morning and you just want to go back to sleep.
Yeah,
but
pause
you
time,
can't. Pause time.
Sleep for another 4 hours. Unpause time.
Exactly.
Get up.
Wouldn't that just be the best power ever?
Again,
Because...
I feel like you're thinking quite small here in the sense of what you could do if you could pause time.
Yeah, but I'm kind of feeling...
You could like rob a bank and have all the money and then buy like a bigger house.
No, but I wouldn't
and
want
inside
to
number
rob
24, 25, 26, just buy the whole road.
But then I thought, see, this is where my brain goes. It hops from one thing to the other. I thought I would also have to have the ability that when I stop time, that my biological time stops as well. Because
right,
otherwise,
so like you don't age.
Yeah, because otherwise I'd be using up all my life in the time when I pause
that'd be
time.
worse.
And so every time I'd age like an additional however many hours. So I thought that would be the thing. That I'd be able to pause time, so I'd have all the time I wanted, but I would still progress within my life. So it's not like kind of living forever. It just gives you an extended amount of time. That is my superpower that I would have. That's my choice of
Again, my challenge on that is like life is all about choices, right?
Yeah.
We only have so much time. We all know that.
Yeah.
And you have that time to choose what you are going to do with your life.
Yeah.
And if you have all of time.
Yeah.
Then does that mean you choose to do everything, or does it mean you probably eventually choose to do nothing?
I'd like to think I'm the type of person who would choose to do everything, but on the other hand, on the other hand, I do procrastinate.
Yeah, exactly. So do I.
I have this incredible ability to procrastinate.
I thought you were going to say, I have this incredible ability to make things. And like just be really like, I'm so good at making things. But if it wasn't for that procrastination.
No, I do have this incredible ability to procrastinate. And I do think I would probably
still do that.
Or I'd pause time just to eat all the pie. But yeah, I hope I would use it for good, but I could possibly use it for the evil of procrastination and pie.
Should want me to do mine now?
Yeah, you tell me.
Alright, so
because obviously this is a bit different because Emrys is not a crafty soul.
Well,
are you?
Not...
Well, you're creative. I'm not saying you're not creative.
I know, I was just messing with you.
Okay.
Mortally weird. No, I can't. Like
you don't.
You asked me the other day if I'd ever, you've never asked me before if I've ever knit anything, and I was like, no, no, I haven't. I have two that I like.
Okay.
And this is good because one of them is very similar to what you've just said.
Okay.
So for these to make kind of sense in context, you need to know that I used to be an actor and still am to an extent, and I really like Doctor Who.
Well, they know. I think they know you like Doctor Who.
Good.
I think I've talked about that before.
Good, yeah. The first one is control over time.
So you don't want to just be able to stop time.
I want to be able to stop time. I want to be able to go forwards. I want to be able to go backwards.
So you want to be like Hero, basically. Yeah. Okay. But I suppose it's kind of
or
like... Or
just be like my own TARDIS, basically.
Like you...
Like I'd put TARDIS man. That could be my name.
I'm just this image of you being like blue with a little light on your...
Yeah, so I can go back in time and I can see like history and I can go into the future and see what things are happening.
The thing that worries me about going into the future is seeing what it would be like and knowing that it's going to be really, really bad. Because I have that anxiety thing where I worry about everything anyway. So if I had to worry, like, if I knew that was happening in the future, I think that I would probably just have a nervous breakdown.
But you don't like it when you don't know things. So if you knew things,
that's true.
In some cases, you'd feel better. Yeah.
I could plan for them.
Yeah, maybe change them. Maybe.
But
this is a whole big talk about time travel, which is not. Maybe next week's general waffle is just talking about time travel and how that works.
Time traveling, stopping time, traveling backwards and forwards. But what was the other?
The other one is like Mystique in the X-Men films, be able to turn into anyone.
Really?
Yeah, I definitely think it's like a blessing and a curse because it's like you don't have your own identity, or at least if you do, if you're like that, you're like blue. I don't want to be blue. All my characters seem to want to be blue for some reason.
Basically,
I don't want to be blue.
Subconsciously, you just want to be blue.
I really don't.
Oh, God.
But it would be cool to be able to turn into anyone, because you could do anything.
Yeah, I think the only thing that I would say with that is you would always, your achievements would be based on what other people have technically done. You know, you were saying that it's possible to use the stopping time power for like good and evil. I think it's almost like it would make you lazy. Like you wouldn't want to achieve anything as yourself because you can take the easy way out and do it as other people.
I am very lazy.
Yeah, he's so lazy.
Don't agree with me.
You are a bit lazy.
Oh, I'm leaving.
I love you.
I'm not really leaving. Those are mine.
Those are yours. I prefer mine.
Of course you do.
That was the general waffle this week. I hope you enjoyed.
You gotta do it again. You said it.
So that was general waffle for this week.
General waffle.
Thank you very much, Emrys. I never call him Emrys.
It's really weird. You're welcome, Katie.
No, we never call each other by our first names.
No,
We're those
that would
kind
be
of
far
people.
too normal.
Thank you for coming and being on the podcast. Although I think everybody's probably going to be a little bit concerned about my blood pressure because I am so excited. Apparently,
it's really weird.
Yeah, I'm never this excitable usually when you're around.
No, I should just come and be here more often. Apparently.
But thank you for coming and being on the podcast.
You're welcome.
And maybe we'll have you back soon.
Okay.
You can share your knitting.
Brilliant. Yeah. I'll try and knit something and then I'll show it to you and you can see why that will never happen again.
You want to say bye?
Bye!
So clearly, when I have a co-host on the podcast, I get so excited that coherent speech is no longer something that I am capable of doing. So I apologise for my slight hysteria and my general glee at having my husband on the podcast with me. But I would like to say a big thank you to Emrys for being so game in terms of coming and chatting along with me, because he hardly needed any persuading at all. If you liked it, let me know and maybe I can wrangle him into doing something a little bit more regularly with me. You never know. But yeah, guys, that's everything for this week. Thank you so much, as always, for joining me to hear me rabbit on for the better part of an hour about these things that I love so much. Do head over to the Ravelry group and join. Obviously, we've got the giveaway going on this week. Please join the giveaway. Join the Voidalong if you want to, or just check out some of the amazing projects on that page. Although, bear in mind that if you see them, you're going to want to cast on one of your own. It's just going to happen. And if you've liked the video, please like it, please subscribe. I do update regularly. I post my podcast on a Monday every week. But in terms of knowing when it's up, subscribing is always the best way to do it. So go ahead if you feel like it. But for now, I just want to say again, thank you. I hope you all have a wonderful week filled with amazing crafty goodness. Happy sewing, happy knitting, and I will see you all again really soon. Bye! You okay?
Yeah.
You've gone weird already.
General Waffle.
We have to do it again because I was laughing.
I feel like we should do it on the same side.
I always do this side.
It's that side.
Yeah, but I always do this side.
I know, right?
Oh God. I'm actually crying. You're like, yes.
Yes, I am good on the camera here.
Like, I didn't think I would find talking to you on the podcast this funny, but I'm actually crying.
Oh, laughter crying.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I was just like...
No, not like, you're so bad on the podcast and everyone's going to leave now.